Welcome back, everybody. It's Orange Hat here to bring you another video. So, today, as you can clearly see from here, it is the Karate Kid Trilogy that I'm giving my thoughts on for the final theme stream of Trilogy Thoughts. So, with that said, I finally got my light working. However, it's only working if I plug it in and unplug it and then plug it back in again. So I am getting a new one. It's just going to take time to get here. So I do apologize for that, folks. But yes, before I do get started, shout out to all my supporters and folks. You are the ones who really keep this channel going. Your help, your support, your kindness, and whatnot. You are the guys and gals and everything in between who really do help keep this channel going. And I don't need money to keep it going. I just need support to keep it going. So subscribers and whatnot, I'm having a hard time clinching the 1550 mark. If you can share my channel link, just go to my channel, Orange Hat Reviews on YouTube. Share it out on Facebook, Threads, YouTube, whatever. If you could share it out, that'd be awesome. And getting my videos shared out, that's basically the best way you can support my channel. So with that also said, tonight is the Barroom Podcast. After this stream, I have to go out and take care of some lawn stuff. But then it's going to be Barroom Podcast tonight. Tomorrow night is Jade Shadow's channel on YouTube. We're going to be talking Lost World Jurassic Park at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, or 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Then Thursday on X, exclusively, is The Ghost in the Darkness. I no longer will be doing singles on YouTube due to the fact that YouTube had created new rules in real time to frickin' have me banned from, or to pull my stream, essentially. Also, Fridays are Orange Hat Uncensored. Sundays are Acolyte Thoughts and Weekly Recap with my friend Kate from Nerd with a Cigar. And starting Monday, I will be bringing on fellow YouTubers and other people who want to basically feel the need to rant. If you want to rant, you can rant. I'm doing Monday rants. And I'm expecting a slow start to it because it's new and whatnot. But I'm expecting to actually do rants. However, the one rule is you keep your personal drama shit at home. You don't bring it onto my channel. You don't be dissing members in the community and whatnot. No matter what disagreements you may have, you keep that shit off my channel. I'm no longer doing it, and I don't want anybody else to do it. So, not on my channel anyway. But with that out of the way, I've done Matrix Trilogy and other trilogies this month. Next month, stay till the end of this video. You will hear what my theme streams are for next month. So, let's get to the chat. Let's say hello. I took 2 styles in karate back in the day. Yes, I did. Which, or you forgot which. What belt did I reach in them? I will answer that in a second. Hello to Orange, or to Happy Dinosaur. Good to see you, man. I can't stay too long. Celebrate my birthday. Happy birthday to Happy Dinosaur 8000, man. Hope you have a wonderful day, dude. Jurassic Park, Lost World and Trade Show. Nice, yep. And Neozoic, good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. And yes, as for this first question that Vanya took, yes, I did take karate class mainly because of this movie. I actually had a fascination with karate at a young age. I didn't start until I was like 11, 12-ish. Hold on one second, folks. Yeah, sorry, had to take care of something. But anyway, I had been watching this movie plus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie where I learned to do a spin kick very well. And when I started martial arts training with my father, the first style that we started was Shotokan. or Shotokan, or however you choose to describe it or pronounce it. It was a more visceral and more very blunt style. You were essentially doing what was best to end the fight quickly. You were not prolonging the fight. Then we, because some people in focus groups thought that was a little bit too aggressive, um, we switched over to Seto Shidoru, which was uh, more fluid. It had a lot more sweeping moves, and it still had direct moves, yes, in karate, but it also still allowed a more or for more movement and less direct defense, which was more violent in Shotokan, where Shotokan you were learning to defend yourself by putting the fight away quickly and efficiently. Seto Shidoru allowed you to move more around your opponent to also defend yourself by basically getting the heck out of their way, but also striking efficiently when needed. That's the best way that I could describe it. But I always took to heart that lesson that martial arts is defensive. It is never meant for fighting, attacking, and basically the thrill of the fight, you know? Yeah. As for Happy Dinosaur took Juyo, managed the yellow belt. As for the belt that I got, I managed to get up to green belt, but then I injured my knee at the time. So I had gone out for a while and I couldn't go back in. However, my sensei had basically told me, it's like, you have black belt potential. You just don't have the rank. You got the skill. You don't got the rank. Because I was always staying back staying in the extra lessons, which were the more advanced lessons. And I had learned stuff that was more above my rank. So yes, while I may have only made it to green belt, I had learned things that were of higher teaching. So with that, headcanon, Karate Kid takes place in the same universe as Rocky, mainly because both films were directed by the late great John G. Alvison. And yeah, that's an interesting canon. It's also kind of very similar to what goes on, or it's kind of very similar as to the basis of the stories of Karate Kid and Rocky when you really think about it. Neozoic and Conroy, good to see you. So let's get into it. So for me, essentially, Karate Kid, we all know the story of Daniel LaRusso moving to California, or moving to California to essentially live with his mom, helping her with stuff. And he moves into an apartment complex. And while at school, he meets a girl played by the beautiful Elizabeth Shue. Just talked about her during the Saint discussion last week with Mara. And while he's having a nice discussion and stuff, getting to know her and whatnot, Johnny Lawrence comes in, starts some shit. He starts some shit back, tries to defend her, and well, the rivalry begins. Now, yes, a lot of people are like Cobra Kai, Danny started the whole fucking thing. It's given by Johnny's perspective and the illegal kick. Now, I have made my thoughts on Cobra Kai clear. Cobra Kai is a great show. However, it is built on a flawed premise. Now, we all know at the end of this episode, or this movie, Daniel LaRusso wins against Johnny with the crane kick. And Johnny, years later in Cobra Kai, is very resentful, says it's an illegal kick, and he still holds his grudge, and yada, yada, yada. It turns out, if you really pay attention to Karate Kid 1, that's not the case. Now, as don't get me wrong, I love Karate Kid and I love Cobra Kai. I think they are both extremely great film and series, but I can still look at it from an objective standpoint. There are things that Daniel LaRusso did to start shit, probably shouldn't have. And there's things that Johnny did that kind of perpetuated it. And there was other things that even the other Cobra Kais did that kind of perpetuated it. You know? Yeah. So, when it came to who was at fault, well, Daniel LaRusso, well, I kind of always identified with Daniel LaRusso, mainly because my first name is, yes, Daniel. I don't make that a secret, but I also prefer to be called Orange Hat on here. I only let my close friends call me Daniel. Or Dan or Danny. Depending on how old you are, you can call me Danny. But, yeah, he started shit and took a bit for Mr. Miyagi, who was the caretaker of the grounds, essentially, the handyman, fixed his bike, started teaching him self-defense, karate, because the kid was trying to be self-taught at the first. Am I the one who doesn't like the Jaden Smith Karate Kid? You're not the only one or I've seen it. I found it to be modernized, and it's the Kung Fu Kid everywhere else but America. It's the Kung Fu Kid. But it's essentially the same story. Bullied kid, picked on, has to defend himself in a tournament. And yes, the leg is also damaged and whatnot. So yeah, sweep the leg. But the point is, in this movie in the 80s, it was a lot more violent back then. Nowadays, yes, kids can get violent, sure. And there's a lot of adults who can no longer teach these kids the valuable lesson of fuck around and find out, unfortunately, because I do believe that kids do sometimes need the hard lessons. If they get out of control, they need the hard lessons. But going back to the flawed premise, because I just realized I hadn't really given it, Johnny Lawrence accepted his defeat. He was the one who handed LaRusso the trophy. He's like, you're all right, LaRusso. You're all right. He accepted it. Moved on. Now, if they had gone with the original premise where Lawrence was like Miyagi's doctor or something and whatnot, I mean, while Miyagi was still alive at the time, or Pat Morita was still alive, that would have been great. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. So, yeah, the premise to Cobra Kai is flawed because it shows that he kind of resented him or had a resentment that wasn't there even in the beginning of the second movie that showed the aftermath outside of the tournament, where Cobra Kai guy, can't remember his damn name to save my life right now, but the coach, the instructor, got his ass kicked by Miyagi and turned his students away from him. So yeah. Hey Pierre, good to see you. Thank you for watching on X. Hey OHR. So fun little 90s geek tidbit regarding Pat Morita. I recall him in the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo on Nickelodeon as a kid. Owned a few books. Cool. How would I compare the Karate Kid with other 84 films such as Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills Cop, Gremlins, yada yada? Karate Kid has a special place in my heart. Always have, or always has, and always will. Ghostbusters, same. Ghostbusters was the first rather scary movie that I watched, but it didn't give me nightmares. However, The Neverending Story was the first movie to actually give me nightmares. Beverly Hills Cop, seen that. I'd have to go back and watch it to really get back into it. Gremlins, always a fun one. Temple of Doom, it's the one that I've seen the least and don't really have much liking to. I mean, yes, it's fun, it's great, it's Indiana Jones, but The Last Crusade is always going to be my favorite in that regard. Terminator, great film, love it. Nightmare on Elm Street, great film, love it. 1984, based off the book. Haven't seen it, haven't read it. Yes, I haven't read 1984. I haven't seen 1984. But essentially, I do understand the premise of government tyranny and stuff, and that it was basically warning people. But getting back to Karate Kid, yeah, I liked the movie. It had great sequences where when one of my favorite moments was when Dan started shit at the dance, he was in the shower. He was running away from Johnny and the others who were getting ready to smoke a blunt. And he just had to push. He just had to push. He got himself into that one and he got his ass kicked for it. But then Johnny took a little too hard to Cobra Kai's teaching, and enemy deserves no mercy, you know? And, well, he was going to essentially do some very damaging work on Daniel. Well, that's when Mr. Miyagi stepped in, kicked the crap out of the boys, and got Danny home. And then he taught him, and I love some of the line. There are some great scenes that's not just about the fighting and stuff, but also about the teaching and also about how the friendship developed between Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. When Mr. Miyagi was being visited by Daniel, he was rather drunk in one scene. And he didn't fully understand. He thought he was just rambling and whatnot until he realized that he was crying. And apparently, there was news that hit the waves that Miyagi's family was killed during World War II, in which he found out while he was on duty. You never give that, or to me, a person should never receive that while they are in active duty, meaning when they are on patrol, when they're doing something. Wait for them to like hit the rack or something like that. You wait for them to be a little bit more at rest before dropping that freaking bomb on them, you know? Hey, Junebug, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello, and are we looking very orange today with orange do-rag and orange white bead? This is actually red. It's just that the light and whatnot there, it can or appears more red now. I was actually trying to keep that off, but yes, it is a brighter red. And it's not a white, or, well, I'm guessing you meant wife beater, but yeah, I hate that term for tank tops. But getting back into it, the training is some of the most unorthodox training. Wax on, wax off, paint the fence, paint the house. And then he's like, my arm hurts, man. You've been teaching me all this crap. You've been having me do all this stuff for you. And then it's like, or what the hell, man? I'm done. And he's like, Danielson, show me wax on, wax off. And he's like, I can't, man. My arm hurts. So then he does the clap, rub, and pressure point to help his arm. And he's like, now show me wax on, wax off. How'd you do that? Show! I love that. It's like, show! And I love that. He's like, wax on, wax on, wax on, wax on. It's just so fucking hilarious, man. I love it. It was so fucking hilarious. So he then shows him when you do the moves, do them more precise. And then he's like, show me paint the fence. And so he then shows him how to block upward and how to block downward. Show me sand the floor. And show me paint the house. And these are all blocks. These are all different ways to block a person. Where wax on, wax off, you have your inside out blocks. Paint the house outside, or not paint the house, but sand the floor is your down blocks, or is your outside, or your outside in blocks. Paint the house is your outside in blocks, and down blocks. Where paint the fence up and also down to stop attacks. He teaches all of these, and he's the kid finally freaking understands it. He's like, well, when are you going to learn? Teach me how to punch. When are you going to do that? And he's like, first you got to learn balance. Unfortunately, Charlie Sheen was originally considered for Daniel. Well, it's a good thing that Charlie Sheen wasn't in the movie then, wasn't it? You ever think Mr. Miyagi could fool Daniel into painting the fence by saying it's martial arts training? No, he wouldn't have understood if he was blunt about it. Toshiro Mifune of the Akira Kurosawa Samurai movies was originally going to play Mr. Miyagi. He was also going to be the original Obi-Wan. Interesting. But yes, I did see Neozoic's original comment here. Which love interest for Daniel LaRusso was better? Allie Mills, Elizabeth Shue, or Kumiko Tamlin Tomita? Or Jessica Andrews, Robin Lively? Robin Lively was not a love interest. She was actually just a friend, because they really couldn't do a love interest kind of thing with her due to the fact that she was like 15 and Machio was like in his 30s. It was rather inappropriate. Even Ralph Macchio had a problem with this. So it's like, we are not going to be making this a overly romantic thing like with Kumiko and Allie. Now, I love it how in Cobra Kai, those characters are brought back and also resolved. It really is good. I just don't like how Daniel freaking besmirches them, but I do like how they give their own version of what happened. But out of these three, I liked Kumiko's better. Karate Kid Part 2 is my favorite of the trilogy. Yep. And moving into that one, or before we move into that one, I also do like at the beach where the old guys or these two drunkards were having a drink on Miyagi's car, and he's like, well, we'll get rid of him once you get rid of him. And so Mr. Miyagi's like, yes, does this nice little slice strike or open hand strike. And, well, they got rid of him rather than just moved off. And I love that. He's like, now punch. What are you, a little sissy boy or something? Punch. You got to give you got to give the ki and whatnot. And he taught him how to do it. And so Danny's doing the fancy footwork. And so I love how Mr. Miyagi just leg sweeps him, brings him back, and then gives him a strike on the back. And he's like, turning this just around the corner, and you're dancing all the time. I think you dance too much, boy. I think you talk too much. I think you dance too much. Voiced in Mulan and the SpongeBob episode, Karate Island. Cool. And that's all right, man. We all make mistakes. But, yeah, a lot of people do make that mistake, though. So you're not the only one, Neozoic. A lot of people do make that mistake. I made that mistake when I was a kid because I didn't know the age difference. I just thought that, or I just wanted to see Daniel, well, kicking ass and shit, at that time. But then I learned proper martial arts etiquette and discipline. So then moving into the second one, we learned that Miyagi's father is very sick, and we learned that his father also had or took an exception for training from father to son. He trained one of Miyagi's friends. Well, then we're also introduced to Chosen and Sato. All great acting and whatnot. And then we have Daniel LaRusso bringing a little bit of an American flair to it all. But we learned that there was a reason why Miyagi fled to America. And there was a reason why he never came back. Well, it turned out that Sato had an arranged marriage with the woman that Miyagi loved and challenged Miyagi to a punch or to a duel. And in those times and in that etiquette, you dueled to kill. Well, at this time, Pat Morita voiced Emperor of China in Milan. Yep, he did. And in this time, he Sato has wealth and influence, and Chosen is his prized student. Kumiko learns or is basically Dan's guide around Japan. And there's that scene with the ice breaking. Wax On, Wax Off was homaged in Threat Level Midnight, where Cherokee Jack tells Michael Scarn to mop the ice while practicing hockey. Yeah. And then there's also the nice little shout out in Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. As well as, there's so many different homages to it. Where you also have that one scene in the bar where he's like, or Daniel's talking about how they're all focusing on muscle and not your head. And one of the guys who actually happens to be actor or known actor in his own right, he played Walker's friend in Walker Texas Ranger, as well as other roles. Like blanking on his name right now, but he's like, "You think you could do better, Big Mouth?" Well, he's like, he's got to break all 3, right? And Chosen steps in. He's like, "Wrong, all 6." And he's like, "I'm not doing." Well, you have a choice: broken ice or broken neck. And this is when Miyagi comes in. He's like, "How many pieces?" 6. $600 says he breaks all 6. I can't cover that. And that's when Sato comes in. And he's like, and friggin' Daniel's like, "What are you doing?" Or, "What am I supposed to do?" "Focus." "Okay, well, I'll focus. What are you going to do?" "Pray." And then he eventually breaks all 6 through. And it's such a great freaking scene. And he goes to Miyagi goes to take the money, and Chosen stops and he's like, "We don't honor a bet with a coward." And he's like, "Do not embarrass your uncle again." And so he lets him. He's like, "Thank you, Sato. Good doing business with you." So it's that more relaxed way of living that, however, also serious way of living that Miyagi just is able to get up on this stuff. Well, Sato then steps up the antagonizing, rips up Miyagi's home a little bit, starts attacking his house and destroying his gardens and whatnot. And after Miyagi stepped in to save Daniel again, after Chosen goes after them all, well, yeah. Miyagi finally, or Sato, then decides to wipe out the whole village to set up in industry and whatnot. Yeah, from Paris with Love, wax on, wax off. Um, Karate Kid 2 is definitely the best one. Yes, it is, Junebug. How would I compare Bill Conti's Karate Kid and sequels with other scores such as the Rocky films, For Your Eyes Only, Roger Moore's James Bond film, and The Right Stuff and whatnot? I have found myself of late whistling Bill Conti's Karate Kid theme. So yeah. That just goes to say that I find or hold that theme and that score in high regard. As for the others, they're good, just not memorable. Now I also do like Daniel's drum teaching with the whole drum, where Miyagi's teaching him about the drum and the drum movements and whatnot. And he's teaching him with the spikes and whatnot. He's like, okay, 1, 2, Daniel-san, are you all right? He's like, yeah, I just wasn't ready for that. He's like, huh, okay. So as Mr. Miyagi's coming down, he pulls another one, or he pulls another spike or ice spike, and it rips his shirt. And he's like, and his shirt's ripped, and he's like, all right, I love it. Daniel's like, you all right? Yeah, that was pretty stupid. All right. Miyagi said did the same thing. Father agreed. Very stupid. Take it easy, Happy Dino. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, oh my God, it was just so, I love that. He's like, hey, can this technique be used or have a counterpunch in it? Ask drum. So then he starts thinking about it, and you hear the drumming, and then Miyagi cuts in. Or Danielson, ask drum later. We gotta go. Oh, I mean, there are so many great points in this movie. Then there's the typhoon that came in, and which played well, or which did a great job in Cobra Kai season 3, or was it season 4? The one where they went to Japan. So it's season 4, I think they went to Japan. Yeah. And well, yeah. When Daniel's down on his luck, Chosen comes in. He thinks he hasn't let it all go yet, you know? I love the misdirection that they gave it there. And he just fucking turns it right back on. But during the typhoon and the storm, well, Miyagi and Sato had already agreed to do the fight, because Miyagi's like, you're not going to, or I'll fight you. Just spare the village. You know, spare the village and I'll fight you. Well, he then gives Daniel-san his last will and testament. And he's like, well, I don't want the house. I want you, man. And well, thankfully, the fight was stopped because the storm came in. Sato gets covered because of the house collapsing in on him. And Miyagi goes out to help Sato, as well as Daniel goes to save that girl who was ringing the bell, who got too scared and couldn't leave. He also had to get rid of the electric wire that was too close. And so after Miyagi saves Sato, and Daniel's struggling to save the girl a little bit, he tells Chosen, he's like, go help him. And he's like, I can't help him. Nope, not going to help him. I can't help him. Well, that's when Sato goes out and helps him, and he's like, "Now I am truly dead to you." Because at first Chosen thought that his uncle was dead. Turns out he wasn't. And well, that's when Chosen, out of anger, he can't let go of it at the time, ran out into the storm. Nobody saw him until the end of the climactic battle, where he comes in, holds Kumiko hostage, and threatens Dan to fight or she dies. And it's all a matter of honor to him. And I love what Miyagi says to him. It's like, Danielson, this is not a tournament. This is for real. So, yeah. Daniel's son, or Daniel, has always thought that it was, or his fights have always been for points. He's never fought for real. He's never had to risk his life in a fight. So when he's fighting Chosen, you can see he's clearly outclassed until he realizes, okay, I have to step it up, so I'm going to have to start fighting harder. And he fights harder, but then Chosen is still more skilled. And that's when they bring out the drums, and, well, he finally understands what the drums mean. And he uses it as a counter. And at the point where he could kill him, he's like, live or die, man. Die. Wrong. And you do the famous honk. Which film has better villains? Let's see here. Number 2 is the best movie outright. Number 3 has the best villains. Because number 3 has a truly ruthless villain. Where 2 has redemption villain, as well as Chosen, who was willing to fight to kill. 3 has Terry Silver. And Terry Silver is a guy who tortures a kid for amusement and also because his best friend got humiliated. So, yeah. He's also a toxic waste dumper and whatnot. And then he also brings in the bad boy of karate, Mike Barnes. And Mike Barnes is basically an uncaged beast that has a small little leash to represent Cobra Kai. And Terry Silver, the actor who plays him, oh my God, man. It was so freaking great. Seeing these characters come back in Cobra Kai years later, Martin Cove and all of them, it is just so freaking great. But yeah, the ending of Karate Kid Part 2 was truly great. Then we get to Karate Kid Part 3. We see that Cobra Kai is basically on his last legs. Martin Cove's character, I'm blanking on his name, is down on his luck. Oh, the good old days when honor actually meant something, unlike nowadays with kids these days. Yeah. Question, but yeah, the better villains was definitely Karate Kid 3 with Mike Barnes and Terry Silver. And yes, while Martin Cove was also in it, I believe that Terry Silver was the better villain. Let's just say that. Terry Silver was the better villain. So we see what happens and how Terry Silver tears up the or puts a schism between Miyagi and Daniel. You also see Daniel in Cobra Kai outfit. Cobra Kai, learning Cobra Kai techniques and whatnot. And Mike Barnes is just basically used as a proxy. Well, we also have the lessons from Miyagi and whatnot, and I like how Miyagi comes into the dojo, kicks the shit out or kicks Barnes' ass, kicks Silver's ass, and then kicks Martin Cole's ass. And I love him. Terry Silver. Oh! whoa. And then Mr. Miyagi freaking mocks him. He's like, whoa, whoa, after throwing him in the damn uh, mirrors and whatnot. But yes, when that final tournament and watching the final, yes, Kreese, thank you, John Kreese, yeah. Steven Seagal apparently was actually considered for Terry Silver. Keep in mind his 80s Steven Seagal when he was good. Yes, yes, very much. And plus, he had the small little ponytail. Um, thank you, autocorrect. Yeah. But yeah, when it came to the fights and the stories of Karate Kid as well as Rocky 1 through 3, if you really look at it, if you really, really look at it, Rocky 1 as a down on his luck fighter who's trying to bit or who's trying to build up his character to be in or he wins an exhibition fight, or he gets into an exhibition fight with the world champion. Well, Daniel LaRusso is building up his character, having some character growth, and ends up having to fight a champion. In Rocky 2, Rocky is still training and whatnot and ends up falling in deeper love, sure. Has to go through a little bit of a strife, but also has a much more serious fight. Well, in Rocky 2, Rocky has a little bit of strife. His wife is in a coma due to the pregnancy or complications and whatnot. He also is in a more serious fight. It's a championship bout. And now, in the third one, he has to defend his title, or he has to regain his honor, where Rocky has to fight another even more vicious and more aggressive fighter in Clubber Lang. You also have that in Karate Kid 3. Mike Barnes is a lot more aggressive and hungrier for it and whatnot. They're doing it all to basically discredit Rocky, or Clubber wanted the title, but he also kind of wanted to discredit Rocky. He wanted to show that Rocky was nothing but a chump. Same thing for Cobra Kai in Karate Kid Part 3. They wanted to discredit the kid and Miyagi and show that they were weak. So yes, the first 3 Karate Kid movies really do, in a certain premise, measure up to the Rocky movies. Karate Kid measures up to Rocky. Yeah, just in case I accidentally screwed that up. How would I rank worst to best the Karate Kid films? Series, main characters, Daniel LaRusso, Julie Pierce, and Dre Parker. Ugh. In that order. In that order. From best to worst, or from worst to best, reverse that order. Dre's the worst, Julie's awesome or good, Daniel's best. So Karate Kid 4 with Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, he would fight a Russian then, right? Dude, seriously. And apparently, yeah, they wanted Steven Seagal so much that they told Thomas Ian Griffith to grow out his hair and look like Steven Seagal. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, the third movie didn't do as good as the other 2. The second one is definitely the best. How I would rank the Karate Kid films is, well, the trilogy, the Daniel LaRusso trilogy, is 2, 1, 3. Because it's hard to sell a 30-year-old in a like high school or college age, you know? So they had to go with Julie, Hilary Swank, which I'm hoping she'll show up in the last season, season 6 of Cobra Kai, which is coming out next month. Looking forward to that. Forward, the Cold War would have ended, or the Cold War would have ended at that point. Maybe he would have fought in a terror. Junebug, your autocorrect is killing you, man. But yeah, when it comes to these films, they impacted my life growing up. I learned to defend, or I had to learn to defend myself. I also had to learn, or I learned discipline through martial arts. I'm out of practice. I am admittedly out of practice. I'm not as fit as I used to be. I kind of got a gut. Hey, Kate, good to see you. Nerd with a Cigar. She's my co-host on Sundays, folks. So shout out to her. But yeah, these movies, I always identify with Daniel because, well, I was picked on a lot back in my childhood. I was picked on quite a lot, bullied and whatnot. Now, I don't hold grudges or anything like that. I barely talk to anybody that I went to school with. So, yeah. Thank you, autocorrect. Yeah. The Cold War would have been over at that time. So maybe Daniel would have fought in a terrorist, or would he have fought a terrorist? I don't know why you're putting the word in there, bud. Or in there. I wonder how Cobra Kai is going to include characters from 2010 films, since the 6th film confirmed to include Mr. Han, Jackie Chan, to the film. Well, if Jaden Smith will get out of his dresses and if he will start acting normal, hopefully they can bring in those characters. But I want to see Hilary Swank's character. I want to see Hilary Swank's character in the last season of Cobra Kai, because she is part of this universe. She is part of the Karate Kid universe. Maybe they could do an Alpha Commando show with Hilary Swank. Jesus Christ, man. Hilary Swank is, honestly, I think she is a good actress. A lot of people don't give her enough credit, but I think she is a brilliant actress. And honestly, I don't even know what her political alignment is, nor do I care really. But I've never really seen her express much in way of political stuff. But yeah, anyway, folks, that is going to be it. I'm not going too long for this one. She definitely needs a cameo, and she is very talented. Yes, she is. So I am going to wrap it up here. Yeah. I got to get out there and mow the lawn in 80-degree weather, so it's going to take a bit. But yes, next month is horror month, where each Tuesday, it's not a specific movie, it is a specific genre of horror, where let me pull it up on here, my phone here. Let's see here. Oop. So let's see here. Alrighty. Yeah. The 5 horror, because it's 5 Tuesdays, folks. Hilary Swank came in. Jeez, yeah, man. The 5 horror genres are aliens, nature, monsters, serial killers, and paranormal. So those are the 5 different ones. And she got that Oscar and dip. Yeah. Well, maybe there's other things that were involved too. We'll never know. Ali Larter then came on the scene, which was kind of Hilary Swank light when it came to actresses. But yeah, with that said, Karate Kid Trilogy freaking rules. Hey, Rookie Critic, good to see you, man. You're coming in on the end, or the ass end of it, but thank you for coming in and smashing the like. I do appreciate it. But yes, I will always appreciate the Karate Kid trilogy, the Daniel LaRusso trilogy, because it shaped my childhood. It got me into things that I am thankful for. And I will always be thankful for. It helped give me a sense of discipline that I needed. Otherwise, well, chances are I would probably been in jail. But yeah, with that out of the way, folks, that is going to be it. Thank you to everybody. Junebug, Christian, Vanya, Conroy, Dinosaur, Nerd, and Rookie Critic. Y'all are freaking awesome. Stay tuned for tonight on Society Reviews channel. Tomorrow night is Jade Shadow's channel for Jurassic World 2 or Jurassic Park 2. Society Reviews is doing the bar room with me and others on his channel tonight and Thursday night on X exclusively, because fuck YouTube in this occasion. It's Ghost in the Darkness, where me and Mara will be talking about that. Also, Friday is Orange Hat Uncensored with Janet from Another Planet and Ruben Haynes. So thank you to everybody who tuned in. Y'all are freaking awesome and amazing people. This has been Orange Hat. Y'all have a wonderful day and stay humble.